Broads Media.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Broad. So, since the Eagles do not play today, I am recording this around noon, Sunday afternoon. I think it would be a good time to check on our winter sports teams. So, this will be a Sixers version of the show, and I will absolutely be recording a Flyers version of the show right after this. So, make sure you do a little double dip, if you will, and check out both. But reality is, this basketball team is 2-10, and it's an absolute fucking disgrace. And the last thing that I want to hear from everybody in that locker room, from the president of basketball operations, from the head coach, from ownership, from anybody involved with that franchise, is it doesn't matter. We are just waiting to get healthy. No, it matters. 2-10 is gross. 2-10 is digging yourself in such a hole that when healthy, I'm not necessarily sure you could even dig yourself out of. Joel's back. You're 0-2 with Joel back. He's supposed to just fix everything in their eyes. When Joel returns, that equals us winning a bunch of basketball games. But yet I watch him in the second half against the Orlando Magic look like one of the most uninterested players in the history of the league. Standing there with the ball in his hands, not thinking about someone who's just going to take it right from his hands. Not engaged. After a pretty damn decent first half, you're not locked in to go. That Orlando team was not full. They did not have important pieces. And you let them embarrass you while you actually got fantastic production once again from Jared McCain. Now, if you listen to my skate takes on Twitter, you can follow me at Broads81. I told you to take the over, Jared McCain, 15.5 points, and I specifically said, this dude's gonna double that. Now, I didn't think when the game first started and how things were starting off for him that we would get there as greatly as we did, but you should be put on notice, okay? That you could take a look at the over on his points, and there's probably some great value there. This kid is a stud. And as much as I'm enjoying him, and I mean that, like when I sit down to watch the Sixers, as we know they got a game Monday night against Miami. Following that, they play again on Wednesday against, who do they play? The Memphis Grizzlies. So, there's a couple of games lined up here. It's sad that my thoughts as I prepare and sit down to watch them is, let's just see what Jared McCain can do. I don't give a damn about Embiid. I don't really care about Paul George. I don't care about anybody else. It's Jared McCain. And that's how much you have fallen in my heart. I don't believe in them. I don't trust them. I don't think that they're going to figure it all out. And I hope I'm wrong. I really do. They don't seem to have a worry in the world. And there's two ways to look at that. One is they are so confident in themselves that they know that this is a struggle and it's not where they should be, but they can work themselves out of the funk. That's one side of it. The other side is there's no urgency. And when there's no urgency, in what world are you going to have the fire? Are you going to have the piss and vinegar? Are you going to have the fight, the balls, the stones, the will, the determination to play for 48 minutes and go kick ass nonstop? If you keep ho-humming your way through, you're not going to be able to have that burn that you need. And if you don't get the burn that you need, you're going to look like Joel Embiid did in the second half in Orlando. And that is garbage. I love Joel Embiid. But what you can't do is talk about how you've done so much for this town. Talk about ramping up. And then the first time we get to witness you on the floor, the first couple of times, I mean, sloppy doesn't even do it justice. It looked like he didn't even care to be out there. That's how you walk the walk after talking the talk? That's unacceptable. You have to go out there and lay it on the line. But I think this goes from top down. They're almost taking a Philadelphia Phillies approach of don't worry about it. You should worry, because there's a massive difference between 162 games and then essentially half of that when you're 12 games into this puppy. Before you know it, you're going to be 20 games in to your 82-game season. At some point, that matters. And I understand when you look at the standings outside of, who is it at the top? The Cleveland Cavaliers, who we saw recently, outside of the pretty resilient effort, by the way, against that crew. Disappointing that you didn't have your stars in the second half of a back-to-back. Paul George as well, going up against an undefeated team at home. But whatever. And the Boston Celtics, outside of those two teams, it's not really insane in the Eastern Conference. But it's not really about that. Personally, let's say, hypothetically, that in the Eastern Conference, there's two really good teams at the top, and then the rest are kind of whatever. And then you are in the range of whatever. Well, that's not fucking good enough. Your job this year isn't to be whatever and be in the mix with an Indiana team or, I'm just making up random teams in the East, but a Knicks team that ends up being not what they were last year because they made major changes. I don't know what the Knicks are going to be, and I have more belief in them than I ever do the Sixers in figuring it out with the new Mikal Bridges and a new Karl Anthony Towns. And, they have some things to work out with their roster. But, the Sixers have been cracking at this for years and years and years. And now I'm watching Joel Embiid not even willing to play the sport in the second half. That was so bad. That was so bad. I don't know how, knowing where this fan base is, knowing where the city is, knowing where your team is, that type of effort is ever in play. You may not shoot the basketball well. You may not see the floor well. That's different. It looked like he wasn't interested. Wow. Maybe the standings would kick you in the ass a little bit, that we have to wake up. We have to beat an Orlando team that doesn't have a particular player. That needs to happen. They're not losing to the Boston Celtics every single game here. They're losing to a team up in Toronto when it wasn't great up there with their personnel either. They were missing guys. Toronto, that's a fat loss early in the year. You've had some ugly, hideous, garbage losses to teams that you need to rack up wins against. You can't even beat those teams. Imagine how down we would be if you were beating the teams you were supposed to beat and losing to the good teams. You'd have a pretty good record, and we'd be disappointed, and we'd not be happy, right? That's if you beat all the teams you're supposed to beat and couldn't get over the hump against the good teams in regular season action. That wouldn't even satisfy us, and we are right to not be satisfied by that. Yet now we're living in a world where you can't beat anyone. You can't even beat the bad teams, and these are the bad teams who are missing serious talent. Paul George is shooting, 0 for 15? The only hope that I have is enjoying Jared McCain. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen this one particular highlight that I'm about to reference, but he was driving the lane, made a beautiful pass to the corner, resets his feet over by the three-point line, gets the ball back and fires it off. And a lot of people are saying it does remind them of a very Steph Curry-like possession. Not that he's Steph Curry, but it reminds him of a Steph, or reminds anybody who's watching, of a Steph Curry-like possession. And it really does. It really does. He sees the floor well. He passes well. He's very decisive on what he wants to do. He reacts accordingly. I think when a defender does something the way that his instincts are to react to what the defender is doing, it's super sharp. Plenty of areas where he still needs to work, okay? But I'm just saying, for his base to be what his base is, the foundation to be as strong this early into his run is ridiculous. And who knows where we would be if Paul George and Maxey and Embiid, I don't know if he would have been given that free leash, that free pass. I don't know. Maybe he would have found a way if it was just Maxey who missed time. I don't know how much Kyle Lowry has left in the tank. I don't really care to watch Kelly Oubre. No disrespect, but I don't really care. Yabusele's fun. It's a fun little thing, but the ceiling isn't nearly as high as Jared McCain. But I would say between Yabusele and Jared McCain, those two are the needle movers for me. I think Jared McCain just plays a really sound base of a game right now, with who knows where the end could be for him. I mean, you're talking dropping 30 points. You're talking about dropping 20 plus. You're talking about a dude who's rocking multiple threes in a row, bang, 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 and going on a massive run individually. He's serious. Like, I think when he plays the game, I mean this, when he plays the game, I see a more structured Maxey. And Maxey's great. Runs around like a chicken with his head cut off, flying full speed, but not the greatest facilitator in the world. He's I feel he plays like his hair's on fire. He takes advantage of his speed. He's got an awesome game, don't get me wrong. But this seems to have a little bit more structure involved. So who knows where this could blossom into? What I do know is I don't want the Sixers to do anything stupid, and I don't anticipate them doing that now. There may have been a world, and I thought this at the time of the draft, that the reason Jared McCain was selected is so he could be used as trade bait. Duke. When you play at Duke, that matters. There's some intrigue around the league, knowing what he did in college. Hey, maybe we can add another layer to this team to try and make a push. No! I am in the mindset, and it makes me sick to say this, but I'm almost just letting this time go. This Embiid, Paul George, I'm letting the course run. Let me be very clear. I don't think what I'm about to say is enough to win a championship, but I'll tell you what, I'm sick and tired of the filth that I've been sitting in for as long as I have. Yes, I would be willing to see what the Maxey McCain show would look like as a 1-2 punch. Do I think it's enough? No! I don't. And maybe that's silly. Maybe that's emotional. Maybe that's me having a knee-jerk reaction. It's not really a knee-jerk reaction. We've been through this. We have a window of a championship forever now. So it's not a knee-jerk. Knee-jerk would be, hey, 1 or 2 years of trying to get out of the second damn round. But this time, we're going on the 50th year, and now we're 2-10. So you know what? Fuck it. It is not a knee-jerk reaction. I gave this puppy time. I gave them a long window to prove to me that there's something in there and something in your DNA that you can actually get over the hump. And I don't believe it. So I don't know if the alternative is good enough, but I know it's different. I know these two will bring it night to night. I'm worried about size. I'm worried about the defensive end. I'm worried about some things here. But damn it, let me tell you that I don't enjoy basketball a lick right now. Not in this town. It is a drag. It's almost like I'm intrigued by how are they going to screw this up again today? How are they going to look ugly and hideous today? How are they going to bring no energy again today? That's sort of what it's like on a night-by-night basis with this team, and that's completely unacceptable. 2-10. Let that sink in. 2-10. And what they're saying to us is, we don't give a damn. How? I feel I want to hear some words about it being time to put your foot on the gas and let's kick it into gear. Yo, 2-10, we're 12 games in. You don't have to full on hit the panic button by acknowledging it's time to win some damn basketball games. But this whole attitude that it's not a big deal because we're too good, and quite frankly, it doesn't matter where we land in the standings, all that matters is being healthy. That's not true. It's not true. So what happens when they take this path? They get in as a 6th seed, let's say, a 5th seed, hypothetically, right? And then they lose in the first round. What's the excuse? I better not hear for a second that they didn't have time to develop chemistry. I can't hear for a damn second that the reason why they weren't able to execute and be the best version of themselves is because they missed so many regular season time. Because no shit, I've been saying it since day one that I'm worried about the cohesion. But you didn't care at the time. You just kept walking into each stadium saying, hey, don't worry about it. We'll be okay. You won't be okay. I'm telling you right now, you will not be okay. So I want some urgency. I can't take this long approach, and I'm proud because it seems like every Sixers fan I talk to at this particular time feels a very similar way that I do now. Very rarely is there somebody in the corner of, I trust their plan. I trust the way that they're handling Embiid and Paul George. Not many are feeling that way. Many of them are saying, come on, man, enough's enough. I miss the team I care about. I'm getting more of that. Why can't I get the Sixers back that I love? At least give me a product that I can respect. They're starting to lose respect. And it's not just because of losing. Yes, it starts with losing in the second round, but it goes a lot farther than just them losing a couple basketball games. It's the way it looks. It's the way they talk. It's the way that the mess was with Nick Nurse early on. It's the way that they're getting fined for the lack of communication and not being upfront with where injuries are. It's a combination of 5, 6, 7 things. Yes, it starts with not getting out of the second round. If you get out of the second round, some of the other things aren't as emphasized, right? And it's not as intense in certain areas. But, I mean, come on, man. You are like spitting in our face and telling us it wasn't you. Every time you speak. Then I have to see Joshua Harris with the Washington Commanders hat on and the damn broadcast on Thursday Night Football showing and showing the two stadiums and throwing us all sorts of Joshua Harris crap. And I've never been a big, I hate Joshua Harris guy. Believe it or not, I know. Because I think he opens up his checkbook and he's very willing to pay superstars and presidents and head coaches and fire them, and he gives you that. But let me tell you something. There's a real systemic problem with this team currently. And when it gets this ugly, when it gets this bad, yes, it starts all the way at the top, and this man deserves just as much blame as everybody else. I had a feeling it could be rough after the whole Olympics and Embiid's not ready and he's not gearing up yet and all that stuff, right? And then Paul George in the preseason. I figured it wouldn't be great, but it somehow dipped even lower than I would have ever thought. And the bar wasn't high, but it probably dipped maybe 2 levels down farther than I thought it would be. Guys, they're 2-10. I got a buddy of mine who doesn't even give a damn about basketball, but he lives in Detroit, and he's sending me screenshots of the Detroit Pistons. And he goes, what the hell is going on with your basketball team, dude? You talk a big talk about what Embiid is and Paul George and the new move and Nick Nurse. And I'm watching Nick Nurse play Doughton. Dude, I don't give a damn about Doughton. I don't ever want to see Doughton play ever. Ever. I don't care about him. I don't. And then who else is in? Ricky Council I'm watching out there. He thinks he's LeBron James. It's a mess, dude. The Detroit Pistons. I'm getting screenshots as if they're the Detroit Pistons. Make it stop. This team aggravates me. What doesn't aggravate me is garage beer. It actually helps me out in my time of pain. Don't worry about IPA. No. This is 100% light beer. It's 1,000% quality. DrinkGarageBeer.com. That's the website. Check it out. When I tell you there's no better light beer to ever touch your lips, I will tell you there's no better light beer to ever touch your lips. DrinkGarageBeer.com. And also, hello, welcome on into the channel. If you made it this far, God bless your soul. We talk Philly sports every day here. So you can hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button as well. I greatly appreciate all of your support. You can take me on the road with you by going to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any of your podcasting platforms. You can either search Broads Media or Sports Talk with Broads. Subscribe over there. Leave a 5-star rating and a review. It helps out with the algorithms. And you can actually add more Broads Media content in your life. Oh, yeah, baby. It's that pleasant. What you do is you join the memberships here on YouTube. All the information is down below. You get access to Coffee with Broads live streams twice a week and access to our Discord channel. So that's 8 live streams a month. We have an awesome community. You're not going to want to miss it. So I want to make sure I plug that in before we go to the Anytime Hotline calls and hear from the people. So let's do it. This is after the loss to the Orlando Magic.
Hey, Broads, just watched the Sixers fail to score 90 points against the Orlando Magic. Absolutely pathetic. I mean, I think we have to have a serious conversation. I know it sounds stupid, but is it right to just shut down Joel Embiid, throw away this year, and prepare for next year? I mean, I did the math. Like, even if we win out at like a 650 winning percentage pace, okay, that's like a 53 win season, okay? We still end up with like 45 wins or so, and that's a play-in team, okay? And that's if we win out. That's if we, win to close out the year. And do you think about just, trading Paul George if he wants to leave? You build around Tyrese Maxey, healthy Joel Embiid this year if you shut him down. And then now you got Jared McCain. He looks like a stud. I mean, he looks like our best player on the court right now. And, just see what you can do next year. Maybe get a good draft pick. Maybe try to get some young assets at the deadline if you ship out, like, George, Martin, Oubre, whoever. I don't know. Just interested to hear your thoughts. Pathetic.
It is pathetic. I don't think you're trading any sort of Paul George after you make the big signing or anything like that. And I don't think that this team would ever tell Joel Embiid that the year doesn't matter. Even if you're trying to rest him for the long term, you still know that he doesn't have that much left in the tank, so they're just going to try and maximize him, even though in theory that resting him would push a season back or so, but it would never happen, right? They're going to want to sell tickets. They're going to want people in the building. They're going to try and have an attraction. They're going to want to try and make a run at this. So I don't think that would ever truly be the case. But here's my thing, right? No matter how silly you think something is, no matter how outrageous you think another is, reality is I'm on board to at least open my ears for anything. Now, I may not select whatever is thrown my way, and I may feel when I consume it and when I digest it, by the end, it probably isn't the best idea. Fine. Okay, I may get there. But it is so tragic and it is so uncomfortable as a Sixers fan that I truly believe I'm at least willing to hear anything. You want to sit him down for a whole year? Fine. Let me hear that. Let me just see what that's like. Let me just process, no pun intended, exactly what that may mean. Like, it sounds crazy, but everyone talks about the Kawhi Leonard year when they won a championship, and they talk about load management the year they won. But reality is they had him play. They had he played 9 games the year before. Okay, now, different circumstances, but he played 9 games the year before. That season definitely played a role in why Kawhi Leonard was able to have the success that he had. Joel Embiid is not Kawhi Leonard. Joel Embiid's knees, from what I'm hearing, I don't know if it ever gets any better. You know, it's sort of one of those deals where you wake up every day and you have no clue how it's going to feel no matter what you did the day before. You just have to flip a coin and hope it falls on a day where his knees aren't bothering him as much as it bothers him on days that are rough. And if that's the case, maybe a whole entire year doesn't really do anything anyway, because 1 year from now, it could be the same thing. You wake up every day, you flip a coin, and you either have a good day or a bad day. And that may never go away at this point. And if that's the case, does it benefit you? Not really. So, in regards to the draft pick, though, you say talk about a draft pick. Pretty sure there's something going on. Sixers 2025. There's something. I'm too lazy to look deep into it, but the Thunder have the rights. There are protections. So, the Philadelphia 76ers, Philly finds itself with 2 draft picks. Oh, that's 2024. I need 2025. I don't know. I don't care enough to dive into the bits, nuts and bolts and bits and pieces of it all. But anyway, there's something about that. We'll get to that another time. Listen, they are so bad, by the way, that we are in November. It's November 17th. It is the middle of November. We're talking about what potentially can happen in the draft. Yeah. Yep. All right, now we'll take another call here. This one after the Cleveland game. So remember, respectful effort, shorthanded, nice little run for a little bit, but ultimately the Cavs were able to secure the dub. Here's a call from after that one.
Hey, bro, I thought the Sixers played pretty well tonight. I mean, with all the guys that they had down, no Embiid, no Maxey, no Paul George. It wasn't actually a bad effort. It just came down to the end, a simple breakdown, and it just seems that every time the Sixers play, a star, the guys, they make every shot. Like Donovan Mitchell down the stretch made everything. Same thing when they played the Knicks, the guys in front, they made the shots. And then the turnovers, it just can't happen. And I know they're shorthanded, but the problem closing games is definitely not on their side right now.
I don't think it ever is. I never feel comfortable with them closing games. And granted, yes, missing a lot of pieces here. And hopefully Paul George can help that out, I hope. But yeah, they can't close out games. Now, it's funny we're talking about Cleveland here, and then we'll kind of wrap things up. But Darius Garland is 6'1". Donovan Mitchell is 6'3". Just thinking about the size of McCain at 6'3", and Tyrese Maxey flirts around what? He's probably 6'2", maybe? 6'2". So, I don't know if Cleveland is good enough. I don't know. I don't know if Cleveland can win an NBA championship with Donovan Mitchell and Garland. Here's reality, though. They've been building, they've been working, they've been kind of at this for a little bit now, and it seems like it's obviously trending in a good direction. If the skill set is good enough, the size is always a worry. But is that an example of a way that you can build? And once again, it's November 17th, and I'm talking about changing the whole entire identity of the franchise. It's sad. It's pathetic. But that's almost a perfect example. Here's the thing. There's a lot of teams, like we've seen with Toronto when LeBron was in the East. You can win a lot of regular season games, but that doesn't mean you have the actual, the realness that means the most in the NBA playoffs. And we'll find out about the Cleveland Cavaliers at that particular time. There's a difference. So who knows? This could just be regular season stuff. There's someone I'm going to be watching with a big-time set of binoculars to see exactly how this thing plays out. Because if there is a method to the madness, if there is a way for that to actually secure something significant, then I think we have that right now. I think we have that foundation to create that. to try and mimic that. So we'll see for whatever that's worth. It was a gritty effort, though, but it's one of those games where you know going into it you got no shot. Sure, the Sixers hung in there for a little bit or whatever, but you know. We all know. We all knew. So it's hard. It's hard to sit there every night and prepare to watch a basketball game when all I want is my Sixers back, man. It's winter. You get the clock moved and all, so now it's black at 3 o'clock at night, pitch black, my favorite. That means winter sports is in the works, and now I could barely watch my basketball team. Now I do, but it's sickening. It's a sickening experience. All right, everybody, that's going to do it. Those are my thoughts. I appreciate you hanging out with me today to talk some Sixers hoops. You guys are the greatest in the world. I love you to death, and I'll catch you all on the next one.